Good morning, students. Welcome to the second session of statistics. In the previous session, the first session of statistics, we discussed some of the concepts, data and its types, history of the statistics we have seen, and recording data and organization of data, and preparation of frequency distribution tables, and finally we have seen representing data. And in today's session, we will discuss some more important concepts which are useful for all the classes. Are you all ready, children? Yes. Look at this slide. So here in today's class, we will discuss representative value and its types, and mean, median, mode, which are known as central tendency, and also the relation between them. Yeah, before we start the actual topic, let us see this slide. The first picture, look at the first pic in the slide. Here, can you identify the person sitting in the middle? He is none other than the great personality Swami Vivekananda. He represented India in the world's Parliament of Relations. And when before starting speech, he started saying, "Sisters and brothers of America." Then everybody started clapping. Big round of applause continued for 2 to 3 minutes. And even the people who were on the streets were surprised and confused and looked here and there from where this sound was coming. And you know, children, in this meet, Swami Vivekananda was given 4 chances to speak on the inaugural day, in between 2 days, and also on the closing ceremony day. He made our country proud, and you know, he was the right person to represent India in this meet of relations. In his place, suppose a famous politician or a famous actor or actress or singer represented this, they might not have done as good as Swami Vivekananda. Here, the meeting was about relations. Being a monk, Swami Vivekananda was the right person to represent our India. Look at this second slide. Here, the different secretaries of different societies representing in the national sports meet. Being the secretary of the society, you know, in our state, we have 5 types of Gurukulas. So, all the secretaries represented their own institution in the national sports meet, which was conducted in the year 2019. And here, on behalf of some hundreds of schools, thousands of students and teachers, one right person, and along with that secretary, PT, PD might have represented. And once recollect your regular school assembly. How do you all stand in the assembly? In a straight line in the class, according to your classes. Class-wise, you will be standing in the assembly, isn't it? So here, if you look at this pic, leaders are standing in front of the class. They are representing their own class. And how do you select these class leaders? 1 out of the 40 students of whole class. Not exactly 40, there may be sometimes less than 40 and more than 40 also. So, this leader, whoever has good communication skills and good leadership qualities, is selected, right? 1 of the students out of 40 students is selected as the leader. So, here in all these examples, in all these 3 slides, you have seen one bright person, and sometimes more than one person is representing a huge group of people in a particular activity or a situation, isn't it? In our statistics also, we have this kind of representative values. They are mean, mode, and median. What are the 3 representative values? Mean, mode, and median. These are also called as measures of central tendency. And depending on the data available, the purpose and kind of activity, we find the appropriate representative value for different data given. Right. Let us see one at a time. The first one, mean. We will see what is mean and how do we find mean, what is the formula to find mean of the given data. Suppose I have the marks of 5 students, of 9th class students secured out of 100. One student secured 100 upon 100 and one more 90 and 70, 8 marks and 40 marks, right? 100, 90, 70, 80 and 40 marks, right? Now here I am considering a very small group, but when you consider your class, whole class, some 40 to 50 students will be there, no? In that class, 40 students secured 40 marks, different scores, right? So here we are considering only 5 students marks, a group of 5 students marks. So if you look at this 100, and if I have to comment upon this data or talk about the class, only looking at this 100 upon 100, can we say that the whole class is excellent? Can we say that the whole class is excellent? No. Can we look at looking at this 8 marks, single digit out of 100, can we decide that the class needs to improve? Here, looking at this 100 marks or single digit 8 marks, we cannot comment upon the whole class. We need something which represents this whole data. What is that we need here is average. What is it? Average. You might have heard this average in your day-to-day life n number of times, isn't it? So this average in statistics is called mean or arithmetic mean. And here we will see the definition of the mean. The mean of the data is obtained by sum of observations by number of observations. From this equation, we can easily say that mean is the quotient obtained by dividing the sum of observations with the number of observations. What is mean? It is the quotient obtained by dividing sum of observations with number of observations. Now let us find out the mean for the data that we have. And this mean is represented by x bar. It is represented by x bar. So here sum of observations is, we have 5 observations. Let us add them. 100 plus 90 plus 70 plus 8 plus 40 divided by 5. Total number of observations are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 observations are there. If you add these observations, 100, 8 we will get, 4, 11, 20, 30, right? Am I correct? 100, right? So here sum of observations is, say units place, if you add 8 is there, and tens place 4 plus 7 11, 20, right? 0, 2 plus 1 3, 308 by 5. So we have to divide this 308 with 5. How many times? 5 6 are 30, 8 is taken, 5 1s are 5, 8 minus 5 is 3.0, 5 6 are 30, right? So it is 61.6, 61.6. So the quotient, when the sum of observations is divided by the number of observations, the quotient obtained here is 61.6. Therefore, the mean of these marks is 61.6. Now looking at this representative value 61.6, we can say that the class is above average. The group of children, this group of 5 students are above average. So here we need a representative value which is nothing but the mean of the data. It is right representative value to decide about this, comment about this class of a group of 5 students. Okay. Now this formula we can also write in a symbolic form. Let me tell you. We have, let us suppose we have the observations x1, x2, x3 and so on xn. are the observations of the data. So here suffix represents the number of observation and x is the variable considered for the observation. So x1, x2, x3 and so on, xn are the observations. Now to find the mean of this data, as usual we use the same formula, sum of observations by number of observations. So this is x1 plus x2 plus x3 and so on plus xn by n. Right? We added all the observations and divided with the number of observations. And in short, using symbol, we can write this as, we can use the symbol sigma. This is the symbol of summation. This symbol is used for summation, that is addition of numbers. Sigma x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus and so on plus xn. Sorry. So we are using no summation symbol. We need not write again x1 plus x2 plus xn and so on. Here we write just sigma xi n, and what is the variable we have here is I. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, we are replacing with one variable I, and this I is equal to 1 to n and number of observations as usual n. And in more simple way, we can write it as sigma x by n. So we can say mean x bar is equal to sigma x by n. So this is the symbolic notation of the formula sum of observations by number of observations. Are you all clear to how to find the mean of the given data? Now look at this slide, children. Right. Here in the slide you can see a boy is playing football. So here, if you observe the first picture, on an average, this boy Nitin plays 2 hours per day. I said on an average, Nitin plays 2 hours per day. It doesn't mean that every day he plays exactly for 2 hours. Sometimes on some days he may play for only 1 hour, and some days he may play for 3 hours also. So here, using the formula just we have learned sum of observations by number of observations, we record the data per week or per month, and then we calculate the average. Then the mean playing time of Nitin is 2 hours. Okay. So here if you observe, the mean of the data is lying between the least and the highest. In this pic you can see 1 hour and 3 hours. Least 1 hour we considered and maximum 3 hours, right? So 2 lies between 1 and 3. So mean of the data always lies between least and the highest. And even if you look at this example, here highest is 100 and least is 8, and mean of the data is 61.6, which lies between the least and the highest values of the data. And where do we use this in our day-to-day life? Look at this slide. Average annual temperature. We calculate average annual temperature or average temperature of a day, right? So here in the calculation of annual temperature of a day or annual temperature, we use the mean. And you can see in this picture, in the map of India, here about 27.5 degrees Celsius, orange color is representing, and different places different colors are indicated, with different colors they are indicated, right? So not only average temperature, average rainfall of the day, average reading time of a student we can calculate, average consumption of food per day we can calculate using this mean. And we also, when we celebrate, when we have function, before itself we decide how much of food do we have to cook, like, isn't it? Like how many sweets we need to make, how much rice we have to cook and all. So that also using on an average, we cook the food sufficient for the number of people required. For example, one person, we assume that one person eats 2 laddus on an average, and if suppose for the function 500 people are going to attend, the cook decides that 500 into 2 is equal to 1000 laddus has to be, he has to make 1000 laddus, right? So in this way, in every walk of our day-to-day life, we use this average, which is the one of the measures of central tendency, right? And let us see some of the properties of this mean or average or arithmetic mean. If you see this, here we are using simple calculations, isn't it? Only addition, division, and sometimes we may use multiplication, but all are fundamental operations only, isn't it? So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all the four are fundamental operations. So using this simple fundamental operations means it is easy to calculate, isn't it, children? Are you not feeling that addition is very simple, division is also very simple? Yes, you have learnt in the number system all these concepts, right? So the first property of arithmetic mean is it is easy to calculate and easy to understand. You can easily understand the concept of arithmetic mean, and it has one and only one value, 61.6. Only one observation is representing the entire data. Here I have taken only 5, but you may have 40 observations, 100 observations, any number of observations. That huge data is represented by single value, that is unique value. Arithmetic mean has one and only one value, that is nothing but unique. And this arithmetic mean is depending on each and every observation. We are considering all the observations, all the 5 we considered, isn't it? 100, 90, 70, 8, 40, every observation we are adding, and also we are considering the number of observations. So we say that mean depends on all the observations as well as number of observations. So what is mean? Mean is the quotient obtained by dividing the sum of observations by number of observations. And mean is unique. It has one and only one value. It is easy to calculate and we can easily understand the mean concept, right? So this is one of the measures of central tendency. Now let us see one more measure of central tendency. It is nothing but mode. What is this mode? Have you ever heard Uta Padalu in Telugu? Uta Padalu, Uta Chestalu, విన్నారా ఎప్పుడైనా? ఊత పదాలు అంటే ఏంటి? ఫస్ట్ when you look at small kids in their conversation, whenever they talk to each other or they communicate with their parents or teachers or somebody, generally what do they say? They repeat some words. Very frequently they repeat some words, such as one boy is conversing with his mother, saying that narrating some incident which happened in the school. He goes to mother and says, అమ్మ ఇవాళ మరేమో ఇవాళ స్కూల్లో నేను స్టెప్స్ మీద నుంచి జారి పడిపోయాను. అప్పుడు మరేమో మా ఆయమ్మ వచ్చి నన్ను లేపి కట్టి ఆటోలో ఎక్కించింది. మరేమో అప్పుడు వస్తుంటే like this the small kids will be saying one word very frequently. And not only small kids, most of us have this habit of repeating some words. So this repetition of words in Telugu language, it's called Uta Padalu. And Uta Chestalu. What is this Uta Chestalu? We teachers have habit of moving hands like this. Whenever we teach, we will be moving hands like this. So we are repeatedly doing the same action. So it is repeated action is called in Telugu called Uta Chestalu. So Telugulo Uta Padalu Uta Chestalu annatugane, in the language of statistics we call it as mode. The repeated word or the repeated action in the language of statistics is called mode. So if you remember, in the first session of statistics, we defined data as information which is in the form of numbers, figures or words. Do you remember words also? That information is called data. So mode is one of the representative values which works both on numbers and also words. So here if a sentence has repeated word, that repeated word is nothing but the mode. When you come to numerical values, let us consider an example of number of children per family. How many children a family has? The information is like this. A family has 2 children and one more family 1 and 3 no children in a family. Okay, one family has 4 children and a family has 2 children, 5 children and 2 children, like this. Okay, this is the data which tells us number of children per family. Now, to find the mode of this data, what is the mode of this data and how to find the mode of this data? Here the observation, in terms of words we said the word which repeats more frequently, the word which repeats more frequently. When we talk about the numbers, we say that the observation which occurs more frequently in the data is called mode. What is mode? The observation which occurs more frequently. We discussed the definition of frequency also in the previous class. What is the frequency? Number of times the observation occurs in the data. If you look at 0, how many times is it occurring? In the entire data it is only once, and 1 is also only once. When you look at 2, 1, 2, 3 times it is repeated 3 times. So, number of times the observation occurs in the data is called frequency, and the observation which is with the highest frequency is called mode. For our convenience, let us write this data in the ascending order. Smallest is 0, next 1, next one is 2, 2 repeated 3 times, so 2, 2, 2, then we have 3, 4 and 5. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, right. So, here very clearly we can see 0 is occurring once, 1 is occurring once, and all other observations 3, 4, 5 are also occurring once. Only 2 is repeated 3 times. So, the most frequently occurring observation in the data here is mode. Therefore, mode of the data is equal to 2. Are you all clear? The data, the observation which occurs more frequently, the observation which occurs more frequently is called mode. As 2 is occurring more number of times, then the mode of this data is 2, right. And this mode is represented by letter Z. As mean is represented by X bar, mode is represented by Z. Now, depending on the number of modes, we have seen in the introduction of this class that from an organization, one or more than one person may also represent the activity. So, here depending on the number of modes, we have we have to define some definitions like unimodal and all. Let us see in this slide. So, unimodal data, bimodal data, data with many modes, data with no mode. So, what are all this? We will see one at a time. If you look at this example on the board, here this data has how many modes? Only one mode, right? So, as it has one mode, the data, this given data is called unimodal. What is it called? Unimodal. The data which has one mode is called unimodal. Suppose if data has 2 modes, then what is it called? Bimodal. Bi stands for 2. Look at this slide, children. Here I gathered some information about some words of temple, Gita, church, Bible, mosque and Quran, and I have written the number of letters of each word. Temple has 6 letters, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters in the temple. Gita we can see 5 letters, and church also 6, Bible 5, mosque 6 and Quran 5. And at last we have our Indian national flag. So, FLAG flag. Flag has 4 letters. If you consider this data and write it in the ascending order, how do we get the data? See. So, if I write this here, what is the smallest of all the observations? 4, right? 4 is the smallest. And next one is 5, temple 5, church 5, mosque 5, and Gita 6. Okay, these are 6 letters, right? So 4 is flag, and 6 is for all the temple, church, and Quran, mosque, and this 5, 5, 5. So what is this data? How many? Let us see how many observations are repeated here. So 4 is repeated only once. Observation 4 is there only once in the data. And when you count 5, how many do we have? 3 observations. And when you count 6, how many are there? 1, 2, 3. 3, right? So here both 5 and 6 are occurring equal number of times, isn't it? Both 5 and 6 are occurring equal number of times. That is why we say that mode of this data is both 5 and 6. Okay, both of the given data, mode of the given data is both 5 and 6. Okay, so here the given data has 2 modes. How many modes? 2 modes, right? So that's why this data is called bimodal. As the data has 2 modes, the data is called bimodal. If you look at this slide, here all the words temple, church, mosque have equal number of letters. Gita, Bible, and Quran also have equal number of letters. So it is indicating us that we are all equal. Different religion people are equal, and we all have to be united at this time, which is a very difficult time for us, and fight against corona. Will you all do that, students? Right. Next, we will see one more type where there is no chance of occurrence of mode at all. We have done with unimodal and bimodal, where there is no chance of occurrence of mode. Look at the board. Here I am writing the first 5 odd numbers: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Is there any observation repeating here in this data? No observation is repeating, isn't it? 1 is occurring only once, 3 is once, 5 is once. Every observation is occurring only once. So there is no repetition of data. If an observation repeats in the data, then only we call it as mode. So here no observation is repeating. No observation is repeating in this data. That's why we say that this data has no mode. All are occurring equal number of times, and we say that kind of data has no mode. And here sometimes you may get doubt if every observation occurs 2 times, like 1, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9, 9, right? Every observation is occurring equal number of times, 2 times. Then also we say that it has no mode. And sometimes the same observation may occur 3 times, 4 times. If all the observations are occurring equal number of times, for that kind of data, we say the data has no mode. If you look at this slide, children, here we have unique personalities. Who are they? Our Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and Mother Teresa. I personally feel that these are unique personalities. This kind of personalities won't be repeated. So I can consider this as the data which has no mode. Do you all agree with me? Right. So this mode we have seen, and here only with the numbers. In the beginning we discussed that mode is applicable to words also, right? So this is the only central tendency mode which can be considered for both numbers and words also. We cannot calculate average of the words, right? They are words. We cannot add, subtract, and we can't do any addition, subtraction, no. That's why we cannot calculate average for words, but we can find the mode of the words. And here we will see one of the important properties of mode. Suppose we will consider one example here to see the property of mode. I have the data like this: 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3 and 4. If an observation is added to this data, does the mode change or not? Let us see. I will add an observation to this data. Before adding an observation, let us see what is the mode of this data. 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Here 2 is occurring 3 times and 2 is occurring only 2 times, and other observations are occurring only once. Therefore, highest frequency observation is 2, that is called mode of the data. So, the mode of the given data is 2. Now, what is our task? We have to add an observation and see whether the mode changes or not. So, let me add an observation 5 to this data. Right? I added one observation 5. Now, is there any change in the mode? Is there any change in the mode? There is no change in the mode, because 2 is, even after adding 5, 2 is with highest frequency, that is 3. That's why mode remains the same as 2 only. Now, instead of 5, if I add one more observation 3, okay, I added one more observation 3. Now, if you see, already we have 2 3s and one more 3 is added. So, how many 3s we have total? 3 3s, isn't it? 3 3s are there. So, 2 is occurring 3 times and 3 is also occurring 3 times, right? So, here both the observations 2 and 3 are occurring equal number of times. So, that's why the mode changes now, isn't it? The mode changes to what? 2 and 3. So, initially we had mode of the data as only 2. When 5 was added, mode doesn't change. But when 3 was added, mode has changed from 2 to 2 and 3 both. So, initially it was unimodal. After adding an observation 3, it has become bimodal. So, here we can understand, we can finally state that mode may or may not change when an observation is added. It depends on the observation of the data as well as mode of the data. Now, where do we use this mode? Can you tell me, where do we use this mode in our day-to-day life? We have seen where average is used, arithmetic mean is used in day-to-day life. It is most popular things we need to find out, such as favorite cricketer. Somebody's favorite cricketer, if you want to know, then you have to calculate the mode. I'll give you one more example here. In a shop, he has all the provisions, right? He was selling and he sold in a day around 50 kgs of sugar, and every other item was there, and he has to place an order for the items. As he sold more amount of sugar, he needs to place more order for sugar, isn't it? And even a vegetable vendor has many vegetables on with him, and he could sell all tomatoes. So, what does it mean? Maximum amount of tomatoes were sold. So, he needs to get more tomatoes. It is our common sense, right? So, for example, consider one more example. In a city, most popularly used transport system we want to find out. So, we have to collect the data regarding what are the different transport systems that that city has, and whichever transport systems percentage is more, that transport system becomes the mode of the data. So, this is how we can use mode in our day-to-day life. So far we finished arithmetic mean and its formula, definition and calculating arithmetic mean, and also we have seen the second representative value mode, different types of data based on number of modes, and the properties of mode, where is it applied in our day-to-day life. Now, let us see one more concept of this representative values, which is median. what is this median? It is one of the most, we know that it is one of the most popularly used measure of central tendency. Did you watch our Kaun Banega Karodpati television game show? It was conducted previously in the television. Amitabh Bachchan was the host of that program. In that game show, whenever the player couldn't answer, he was given some lifelines. So one of the lifeline was 50-50. What does that 50-50 means? 4 options for any question. Computer gives 4 options, right? A, B, C, D. And the player is unable to decide which is correct answer. Choose the correct answer from out of these 4 options. So what 50-50 lifeline helps him? In what way it helps him? It removes any 2 options which are not correct. The 2 options which are not correct. So finally, he will be left with 2 options among one is the right one, the other one is the wrong one, right? So 2 options. So 50-50 chances are there to win or lose the game. In the same way, here our median divides the data into 2 halves. It divides the data into 2 halves. It stands in the middle and it will have 2 halves which are less than it, and 50% of the data will be less than it and 50% of data will be more than that median. So what actually median is? Right. Median, it's just the middlemost value of the observations arranged in the order. Median is the middlemost value of the observations arranged in the order. You have to focus on this word order. I said order. Middlemost observation is taken as median after we arrange the observations in the ascending or descending order. How many fingers do I have? Can you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now which is the middlemost finger? Is it this one? We have 5 fingers are there, no? Thumb, index, middle finger, ring finger and little finger, right? So this, can I consider this as the median as this is the middlemost one? Can I? No, children. Because I said the observations must be arranged in the order first. They must be arranged in the order. After we arrange the observations in the order only, we can decide whether which is the middlemost one and which is the median of the data. Now, how do I arrange these fingers according to the length? What do I have to do? Okay, look at this slide. I have done something here. These are 5 fingers and here I kept 1 finger at a time and I drawn my fingers and measured the lengths of all the 5 fingers here. And these 5 fingers measurements are 5 centimeters, 6.5 centimeters, 7.17 and 5.6. They are not in the order. They are not arranged in the ascending or descending order. Now if you arrange them in the order, it looks like this. So first smallest to greatest we are going. So thumb, little finger, index finger, ring finger and the middle finger. So here after arranging in the order, this middlemost value which is index finger is going to be the median of the data. Are you all clear? After we arrange the observations in the ascending order or in the descending order also we can arrange the observations, nothing wrong. So after we arrange the observations in the order, the middlemost value is considered as median. As I told you in the beginning, this median has 50% of the observations below it and 50% of the observations above it. Are you all clear? So here what is the length? 6.5 is the median of the given data. Okay, do you know some people will have 6 fingers also, 5 plus 1 somewhere here like this, 5 plus 1, 6 fingers. Did you ever see a person with 6 fingers? Yes, the person with 6 fingers, if a person has 6 fingers, how do we find the median finger of that person? Let us see here in the slide. So here you can see this person has 6 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 5 fingers are mine only, I have drawn already, and I imagined and drawn that extra finger because I have only 5 fingers. So this extra finger is drawn, right? So now again here also we need to arrange these fingers according to their lengths. Okay, the 6 fingers are arranged according to their lengths. But here we cannot get exactly one middlemost value. Here left side 3 and right side 3, if we take, nothing is left in the middle. But we can't say it has no median. We have to consider left side 2, right side 2 and the middlemost 2 fingers, right? So little finger and index finger, 5.6 and 6.5 centimeters. So here we have 2 medians. What are they? 5.6 and 6.5. So here to get exactly one median, we have to take average of it. 5.6 plus 6.5 by 2. 6 plus 5, 11. 6 plus 5, 11, 12.1 by 2. 2, which is 2 6 are 12.6.5. 12.1 is divided by 6. 6 2s are 12. 0 is kept. So by doing this division, around 2.1 we are getting as median. So here we can calculate by taking the average of the data, right? So here, right, where do we use this median in our day-to-day life? Here we have one more method of finding median. Before we see the day-to-day life applications, let me tell you one more method. If there are odd number of observations, 5 is an odd number, right? If there are odd number of observations, median can be given by n plus 1 by 2th observation. That is, we have 5 observations. So 5 plus 1 by 2, which is equal to 6 by 2 is equal to 3rd observation. So in the previous example, if you see the 5 fingers in this slide, so 1, 2, 3, 3rd observation is the median. So in that method or this method, we'll get the same median, but the procedure is different. And when you have 6 even number of observations, we get 2 medians, that is n by 2th observation and n by 2 plus 1th observation, right? So n by 2, 6 by 2, n value 6 by 2 is equal to 3, means one is 3rd observation, the other one 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, the other one is 4th observation. So if you see this slide which we discussed previously, median is 1, 2, 3, 3rd and also 4th observation. So whatever is the method, we get the same answer. The median is same. So here, as per your convenience, you can select the method of finding median. Okay? And where do we use this median? Generally, we use median in calculating the median salaries. In a company, the highest professional will have maximum amount of salary, right? And of class 4 employees will have least salaries. So there, in that particular situation, we cannot use arithmetic mean or mode. In that kind of situations, we use how to calculate the median. We calculate the median and tell the median salary of the values, and it represents all the salaries of the people, and it would be the right representative value in this particular situation. And here 50% of the salaries will be below that median value and 50% will be above that median value, right? Oh my God, I missed my ring. Where is it? Can anybody help me in finding my ring? It is of 5 grams gold and it is diamond ring. Where I missed? I'm not finding. Oh God, what to do? How to get my ring? What to do? Children, are you all really searching for my ring? I actually did not put any ring. I'm just joking. You know, in statistics, we have some missing frequencies. Some observations might be missing. Now let us see how to find the missing observations. When I said my ring is missing, I have given you certain clues, like it's gold ring of 5 grams and it is a diamond ring, isn't it? I have given you some clues to search the ring. So here also in missing frequencies, some if an observation is missing or the frequency is missing, we will be given some clues. So let us see some examples for finding the missing observations. Okay, in our school, my Hindi teacher, she noted the marks of all the students. She conducted some slip test and noted the marks of students 10, 12, 18, 13, 17. When she was about to note down the last student's marks, she said she has some doubt in the marks. So what does she did that Hindi teacher? She noted with pencil here. Some value she noted with pencil. But she calculated that average of the data, it is 15. Mean of the data is 15, right? So here what happened? She has forgotten after a few days and she couldn't, she erased that value and that mark is missing. Now she asked me to help and find the missing frequency. So let us consider that missing mark is P. Here the clue given is mean x bar is equal to 15 and we all know that mean is equal to sum of observations by number of observations. Simply we can write sigma x by n, isn't it? So here what is the mean? X bar 15, it's given to us. Sum of observations 10 plus 12 plus 18 plus 13 plus 17 plus P. Total we have 6 observations. And if you do cross multiplication here, 15 into 60, 90 and sum of observations is 70. If you add all the constants, we can add only constant and this P is a variable. We cannot add variable and a constant because they are the unlike terms you have learnt in algebra, right? 70 plus P, right? So 90 is equal to 70 plus P and solving linear equation. Algebra is over. We cannot add unlike terms. Now we have come to solving linear equations. So if you transpose this 70 to this side, 90 minus 70 which is equal to 20. So the missing mark here is 20. The child the marks of the child that were missed, it is nothing but the 20 marks. So in this way I helped that teacher to find the missing mark. So this is how we can find the missing frequencies of the given data. Not only in using mean, we can also find missing frequencies using median and mode also. Let us see one more example for mode. For example, the median mode of the data, I have data like this 2, 5, 7, 2, 8 and x. Okay, these are the observations of certain data and the mode of this data is also x. It is given that mode of this data is also x. Now we are asked to find out the missing observation x. How can we do? First we have to arrange this in the order 2, 2, 5, 7, 8 and x. I don't know where to write x, whether before 2 or after 2. It can be decided after we talk about this mode. Okay, mode is given as x. If you look at this, observation 2 is repeated twice and all others are repeated only once. So which observation has more chances of becoming mode of this data? It is 2. So as 2 is occurring 2 times, mode can be 2, right? As mode is x and the missing observation is also x, therefore the value of x is also 2. So if that 2 comes here, 2 occurred 3 times in the data, the missing observation of the data is 2. This is how we can find the missing frequencies of the given observations. And we will see at last the relation between the representative values. You can look at this slide here, the equation which gives the we have an equation which gives the relation between mean, median and mode. So mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. So here if any 2 of these 3 like mode or median is given, we can find out mean, or if we are given median and mode, we can find median and mode, we can find out mean. If we are given median and mean, we can find out mode. Means any 2 are given, we can find out the third one. For example, if the median of the data is given as if median is equal to some 8 and mean is equal to 5, then now I have to find mode using the relation. Mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. So here I am writing the symbolic notation. Z stands for mode, M stands for median, and x bar is the mean, right. So Z is equal to 3m minus 2x bar, 3 into. So here when no symbol is there, it is understood that it is multiplication between that constant and the variable. So 3 into median is 8 minus 2 into mean is 5. 3 8s are 24, 2 5s are 10, 24 minus 10 is equal to 14. Therefore, we say Z is equal to 14, that is mode of the data is 14. So, this is how using this relation, empirical relation between mean, median, mode, we can find out if any two are given, we can find out the third one. Right, children, this is the time for your summer project. Note down the first question here. Write 10 situations from your day-to-day life. How many situations you have to write? 10 situations from your day-to-day life where there is a need to find representative value. That collection, whichever the situation whichever you are writing, that must have a need of finding the representative value. We have seen in the throughout our session where the situation is in need of finding mean, median and mode, many examples we discussed. So, in the same way you have to write 10 situations where there is a need to find representative value, and you have to decide whether mean or mode or median is better representative value for the situation that you have collected. Are you all clear with this question? You need to collect 10 situations from your day-to-day life where there is a need to find representative value and decide whether mean or mode or median is better representative value for that situation. If that data is in the form of numbers or words, you can find out the mean, median, mode also. If you want, you can. And second question, right. This is time for physical exercise. Whole day you are reading, writing and doing your projects and busy with studies, right. So, I am giving you a task of physical exercise. Set 3 minutes time in the stopwatch of your cell phone, or if you have watch also, you can set 3 minutes time in that, and you can you have to do push-ups. Here picture is given, push-ups. 2 small kids are doing push-ups. No, here exercise they are doing push-ups. So, ask your family member to count push-ups that you can do in that specified time. We decided to set 3 minutes time. No, in that 3 minutes time, how many push-ups can you do that your family member or your brother or anybody can, your friend can count. And you have to do this exercise 10 times, children, not once. You have to do 10 times, and when you count every time, you will get certain number, right, number of push-ups, right. So, you will be getting total 10 observations here. So, when you do this exercise, how many observations will you get? Total 10 observations. Now, for this observation, what do you have to do? You have to find the mean, mode and median for the data collected. You collected 10 observations. For that 10 observations, you have to find mean, median and mode, and you need to interpret. As I told you in the examples in the beginning, we have taken average score, score of the class. The class is above average. The average mark of the class is 60.8 something. And when we calculated mode, we said most of the families have 2 children per 2 children, right. So, if you after you calculate mean, median, you can write your comment. That is called interpretation. We have seen in the first session of statistics also. So, here you have to interpret. Even median, after calculating median, below median 50% will be there, and above median 50% will be there. So, you need to interpret after you calculate mean, median and mode of the data. And finally, you write advantages of physical exercises in 2 or 3 sentences. What are the advantages of doing physical exercises? not only push-ups. If you want, you can do skipping or anything else, and the only thing I need is here you have to do that 10 times and note down 10 observations and find mean, median, mode of that data. In the beginning of this session, we have seen Swami Vivekananda representing India in the religious meeting, isn't it? I request you all to read the story of journey of Swami Vivekananda from India to Chicago. It's really inspiring story, and almost all the stories tell us, especially this story of Swami Vivekananda, gives us a statement: trouble troubles you until you trouble the trouble. Does it? Trouble troubles you until you trouble the trouble. Here, trouble is repeated 3 times if you see. Trouble troubles you until you trouble the trouble. So, this we can consider it as a tongue twister or a saying or anything. And here, mode of this is trouble. So, you all have to fight, and you have to start troubling that trouble. And you know, children, I heard this from in a movie of superstar Krishna when I was a small child, and it was registered in my mind, and whenever it is required, I try to use it. So, being a small child, you also read some inspirational stories and moral stories and register all these morals, and they are useful in your future. So, for today, that's all. In today's class, we have seen all the 3 measures of central tendency: mean, median, mode, their formulae, definitions, their uses in day-to-day life, isn't it? And also we have seen how to find the missing frequencies, and finally the empirical relation between the mean, median, mode. And I thank all those who have given me this platform to speak to you all. And we have one more session, and for the next class I'll come with some more concepts of statistics, and meanwhile you complete your summer project and also read storybooks. Thank you very much.